I think it's pretty clear that I can get really, really excited about things. I can get so hype. Hype was like one of my favorite words. It's still one of my favorite words. I'd get so hype and I'd say, hype, hype, hype. It's so hype. I'd be so excited. But then there's this other word, and that word is substance. And there's a really interesting verse in Hebrews chapter 11 in the Bible, and it just says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So it's like there's this work, there's this thing that's happened, and so it's like tangible, it's real, it's in life, like it's there. Whereas hype is an energy, it's excitement, it's peace of mind amplified to crazy levels, and it's also a little bit of out of controlness. What I'm really looking for more in my life is the complete marriage of the two. Is like I want to have hype and excitement and words and copywriting, because I'm getting into copywriting. It's like I want to have really good words that show that I'm excited, but also very good words that show I know what I'm talking about on this topic enough that I can command that kind of influence. So like if you think about this with going to war, like let's say I have this team, I'm going to war, and I have this clear objective that I'm going to set out, and I said, all right, charge, and I'm so excited, I'm so pumped, but then I don't really know what we're fighting for. The soldiers probably aren't going to fight. And if they're going to fight, they're not going to fight very hard. I think of this is similar to content on LinkedIn. Some of my content on LinkedIn, I just put it out there. I don't really care a ton. There's not much of a thought for it. And so it probably doesn't do super well. Lately, I've been doing more like newsletter, sneak peek thingies. And those have been doing actually okay because there's such a clear intention. It's like, okay, I want them to subscribe. Blah, blah, blah. I want them to subscribe to my newsletter because I love it and it's fun. And so I have this snippet from my newsletter, and at the very end, and I say, hey, this was a snippet from my newsletter. You should check it out. And so the newsletter is the substance. The newsletter is the content. It is the whatever. I'm trying to think of a good thing. It's like the knight, or it's the jewel, it's the castle, it's whatever, or it's like the booty at the end of the battle, because they always win. Like that's such a weird word to have for like treasure. The treasure, the spoils, you know what I'm talking about. You get that. That is what that is the newsletter. That's what you get, Whereas the hype is like, I'm getting you really excited. I'm getting you pumped about some certain opportunity. But then it's like, well, what is the substance? How does this continue? Or does it just die right here? I think that is what often happens is hype is so short-lived and substance needs to be there and strategy to keep it alive. There's few things as powerful as hype that has a strategy behind it, a strategy holding it in place. So even if the hype gets slashed in the face with some negative emotion or something, I'm going way overboard with this. There's somebody holding that hype up. It's like the concept of the kite. You're running with your kite and the string is keeping the kite in the air. It seems like the string is keeping the kite from soaring. What the string is doing is keeping the kite in the air. So there has to be both. A lot of this podcast has been me talking and stuff and trying things, sure, but not really going super hard on trying things as I could, if I'm being completely honest. Because sometimes you don't expose yourself to some of the best influences or minds or people that are seen as similar way as you. So some people will look at my podcasts, or I would talk with them like, dude, that's amazing. You're doing everything like that, blah, blah, blah. And there's like there's hype, but there's not substance. It's like, wow, you're doing fantastic, Dallin. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for telling me that. It's like, well, what are you doing with this now? Or what are you doing to leverage this? Or what are you doing to grow this? I played a lot of Warcraft 3 going up with my friends, and it's like, okay, you built up this solid base. Well, what are you going to do with it? Because you have this base, and there's a lot of things you could do. You could try to be an ally and harvest wood and then share it with people and be like the wood guy. You could build a bunch of guard towers. There's so many things you could do. But if you just rely on the hype, eventually hype is going to die. Hype is a beautiful thing, but it also is so fleeting and temporary a lot of the time, which is why there needs to be more substance. This is something I'm trying to get better at. I feel like if I really nail down more exactly what I want this podcast to accomplish, be more in the podcast Discord, check out the link in the show notes, and things of that nature, then it will naturally follow. More people will find the podcast. They will see the hype. They will see the substance. And they will see the strategy, and they'll be, all right, boy, I'm on board with this. This is dope. Because some don't have all three. And some only have parts of them. So, I mean, even today, like I talked with this guy who's been wanting to start a podcast. And it kind of put things into perspective for me a little bit. Because I'm pretty good at getting people excited about things that I'm excited about. I've helped a couple people already start podcasts and stuff. But what I really need to get better at is providing the roadmap or the substance, helping them to take those steps forward. And so it's not just smoke, where it was here and now it is gone. There was no way for it to be harnessed. It's like catching lightning in a bottle. They see the lightning, they get so excited, like, wow, this is the coolest opportunity since making my own bread. And now it's like the storm is gone and it's another sunny day. And yeah. But the substance reminds you of the power of the hype, where the hype came from, and where the hype can ultimately take you. And it's cool. I've been learning, I've been seeing this more when I've studied my copywriting or lack thereof and other people's. And I really believe that focusing on this more and getting more strategic will lead to leaps and bounds in 2023. I think it's inevitable. We've had a couple 500 download months, 500 download months in 2022, which I'm thankful for. But this is just the beginning. On average, that means that every episode was listened to twice in a month, which, again, isn't crazy, but it's way more than I had when I started, so I'm super thankful for it. But we're going to have a bunch of 1,000 download number months in 2023, and hopefully more lives change in 2023, and hopefully tons of other great stuff, great guests. I mean, we're going to have Danny Miranda and some other people on, and it sounds like the momentum is going to be super good and super hype. But again, with the substance, there has to be hype. Or with the hype, there has to be substance. You can't just have that. I see it all the time. I could go on and on. Example after example after example. We have the player who in high school looks like he is literally the bomb.com, best ever. And then lets that get to his head a little bit, doesn't try as hard in college or make some dumb decisions. There we go. That's it. He doesn't play in the NBA, basically gets forgotten about. There's so many people ready to take your place in whatever it is. So that's why you need to show up and do your best and learn and show empathy for people. When I talked about, when I decided to finish up at the thrift store that I've been working at for the last month, I talked with them and they're like, yeah, we've actually already found a replacement for you. And I was like, that was fast, because it's like, yes, you can replace somebody for this position and they will do the job that I did. However, they will never do it exactly how I did it. Talking to customers, running after customers, whatever, because you can't copy me. You can mold somebody, you can push them into a job description, and whatever. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just spitting facts. I'm just kidding. But it's like, but it also is kind of true. It's like you can't duplicate somebody, and as much hype or as much substance as it seems like there is, what is best for you in the long term. And I'm thankful for that space that I made for that new person coming in, but it just kind of put things into perspective for me, So yeah, where there needs to be substance with the hype, and it basically goes along with under-promising and over-delivering, because I've often over-promised and under-delivered, and that's not good. That is way too much hype and way too little substance. Whereas under-promising and over-delivering is a good amount of hype and tons of substance. That's something that Justin Welsh does with his courses. His idea is, hey, I'll make a $50 course and have it be $5,000 worth in value. And so it makes it so people, reciprocity, last episode, they want to support him. Well, a couple episodes ago. They want to support him in other ways, and it just feedback loop. So yeah, those are my thoughts on substance and hype. I think there's a lot more we could talk about here. Actually, I know for sure that there is, but we will leave it there. Just be careful of the hype that people are selling to you. See if there's substance. And also, like, if you don't feel like your life is very great, look at all the substance. Look at all the things you're doing. And then let that fuel your excitement. It's something I've been doing more recently. So I look back at old awesome times or old podcast episodes, and I'm like, this was fire. This was great. This was fun. And it helps me to look forward to the future, So that's all I got. Thank you so much for listening. Check out the links in the show notes, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.